Hello, fire team. Happy Monday. So, just got off a coaching call with another client. So, here I am. I'm a couple minutes late. Sorry about that. But, so we have a ton of brand new members on this page. So, just to kind of give you a review of what we do here. So, on the hello, if you're joining us, just type in hello, your name. Where you're joining us from, so I know you're there. And of course, if you have any questions or comments about the topic today, please drop them in the chat so I can see them, and I will answer them to the best of my ability during this call. So so I just wanted to give you a little overview of what we do here on the Fire Team Members Facebook page. So this Facebook page is a private group. It's for people who have gone through the Fire Team Whiskey programs. So there are people in here who have been with us since the very beginning, over 4 years ago. There are people who are brand new, who are just beginning and just discovering us with maybe one of our challenges. So we run challenges a few times a year, but we're always kind of doing something new. Our next one is coming up in the fall every year. It's our most popular program, our most popular challenge to do. It's a 90-day challenge, and it's our Fight the Fat Fall Challenge, and it's our 90-day challenge to prevent weight gain during the holidays, which of course most people do. So this is our way of helping people not do that over the holiday season. But first, we've got the Military Spouse Challenge coming up, and that starts on September 6th. And I am former Army Captain Stephanie Lincoln. I am the founder and CEO of Fire Team Whiskey. And I developed this program out of my experience, not only being in the military, but also after I got out of the military. I recognized, working in the military medical sector for over 10 years, that the issue with military medical issues, mental health issues, fitness issues, obesity issues, were all kind of connected together, and I wanted to create a kind of a holistic approach to dealing with that. So I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I'm a certified ketogenic mental health nutritionist. So I pretty much know everything about metabolic health and have had training and such. So I'm very different from what a typical fitness trainer does. I am a certified fitness trainer, but most fitness trainers don't even know how the body works. So they'll just tell you to work out more and eat less. And that is not the answer, because our bodies are not closed systems, and that is not how our biology works. So if you're doing our challenge, I'm so excited that you're joining us, and you're going to be learning some of those tips and tricks that we teach all of our fire team members to basically kind of hack your biology and getting it working to your advantage rather than you struggling against it constantly. Because I know I've been there. I've been overweight and out of shape and having a laundry list of medical issues and a laundry list of medications and getting sicker and fatter by the day. So that is when I discovered and created these programs, because I used myself as a guinea pig and they work so well. Then I wanted to start helping other people discover these as well. So I've been coaching and training and doing nutrition and mental health counseling, eating psychology for the last 4.5 years with Fire Team Whiskey. Before that, I was just exclusively doing more eating psychology stuff for about 3 years. So let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of doing this exclusively. So I've helped hundreds of people. Our trainers are amazing. Most of our trainers actually started with our program and discovered the success of this program for themselves, and they loved it so much that they actually had to join us as one of our fitness trainers. So you'll be meeting them soon as well. So let's go ahead and get to the topic. Every week we have a live group coaching call right here on the Fire Team Members Facebook page. And if you're joining us, please let me know you're here so I can see who you are and see where you're joining us from. And if you're doing the Military Spouse Challenge, welcome, and let me know that you're here. But I'm going to be talking tonight about a topic that I love to talk about because of my eating psychology background and how passionate I am about this. So I'm going to talk about the basically Behavior Change 101. So I wrote my notes down here on a napkin. I have like a whole formal presentation that I do with big groups on this. I've done these presentations in front of military groups, Army, Air Force, reserves, military civilians. So this is a topic that's pretty hot because most people struggle with the fact that they can't seem to get behaviors to stick. Maybe they discover a good program for them, a good fitness routine, nutrition, and it starts to work, but they can't seem to get it to stick in their lives, and they can't seem to hang on to those new behaviors, and then they go right back to their old habits. Hi Laura, thanks for joining. Yay, you're doing the Military Spouse Challenge. Awesome, thanks so much for joining us. I'm so excited to get started. We start September 6th. So we will actually be doing a private Zoom with the military spouse group. So you ladies will receive a calendar invite very soon to those meetings. They will be weekly. If you can join us live, they'll be recorded. If not, you can look back at them, but we'll be having discussions. It'll be Zoom. So we'll be having discussions about all this as well. So excited you're here. So hopefully you'll learn some stuff from this program. So let me go into, and if you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and type them below. So I'm going to go into just these quick little bullet points basically for Behavior Change 101. And I have a full formal presentation on the Fireteam Whiskey app. Which actually I think I put as a part of your challenge. So it'll be on there on one of your rest days. So on your rest day, you'll actually see some wellness presentations, nutrition presentations to give you knowledge, because knowledge is power. So it's going to equip you to do better with this challenge. So I see somebody else popped on. If you're just joining us, say hello, introduce yourself. Let me know if you are one of the people doing the Military Spouse Challenge. Love to see who you are. So let's start with number 1. And some of you ladies have already been saying these on your introduction post, and that's awesome. Your why. You have to figure out what your why is. Now, if your why is just a certain number on the scale, guess what? That is not a very strong why. That's not a reflection of health, and that is not a reflection of a place in your life where you would feel satisfactory or happy or fit. A number on the scale is just a reflection of how much gravity is pushing down on you at that moment in time. It has nothing to do with where you're at in your life at that moment. You could be a miserable person and have a certain body weight, whatever your ideal body weight is. And I use myself as an example for this. So I've been on the two extremes. I've been overweight and I've been underweight. At one point in my life, I weighed 108 pounds. I looked like a skeleton. I looked horrific. I looked very unhealthy. I actually had a couple people pull me aside privately. One was my employer at the time, my boss. And they were very concerned about how thin and kind of sickly that I was getting. And it wasn't because I had an eating disorder or that I was struggling with that. I was just very, very depressed. I had anxiety. I had some personal things going on in my life. My father had cancer. So just a very overwhelming, part of my life. And that was being reflected in my weight. I was miserable. I don't ever want to be that weight again. So if you just focus on a number on a scale, that doesn't mean you're going to be happy at that point in time. So if I'm working with you as a private client, I don't ever make specific weight goals. We work on health, happiness, wellness. And whatever that number on the scale is at the point, it's all that matters is that you are happy in your life and you're healthy. So if weight is your only why, you need to find a better why. So think about that before you start this challenge. If you're doing the Military Spouse Challenge, I encourage you to think about what would it mean for you to live every day and know and wake up every morning, wow, I am the fittest and healthiest that I've ever been. That feels pretty freaking good. It is amazing. So what would that look like? What would your life look like? Use one of those things as a why. You know, maybe if it's just, you know, being able to keep up with your kids every day and not end the day like completely exhausted, irritated, stressed, you know, that kind of stuff. Think about your why. You need a good, strong why. All right, Behavior Change 101, number 2, no temporary mindsets. We are anti-temporary mindsets. I know that if you're doing the challenge, it's a 30-day challenge and you are focused on the 30 days, but it doesn't stop there. And it shouldn't be in your mind that you would just stop at that point at the end of 30 days and go right back to where you were before. Hopefully at the end of that 30 days, you will have improved in a lot of different areas of your life, and you'll want to keep up with those things and keep those new behaviors in your life. So getting rid of that temporary mindset, that crash diet mindset, that doing extreme things for a very short amount of time that are not sustainable for you, you've got to get off that, I call it the roller coaster. The ups and downs, the extremes. Just get off the roller coaster. Let's find a steady path of long-term health and wellness. Number 3, change your environment. This is the biggest mistake that people make when they're trying to change their behaviors. They forget about their environment. Oop, I've got a call coming in. So they forget about their environments. You have to change your environment around you. People focus only on, well, I want to change my behavior. I want to change my eating. I want to work out more. I want to do this. I want to do that. Hey, if you just joined us, let us know that you're here. And if you have any questions, please type them below, or maybe a comment, or maybe something you've experienced with this topic. That would be awesome. So you need to change the things around you because you're going to have triggers. So things around you that supported your behaviors before, the behaviors you're trying to get rid of, are still there. So they're going to trigger and remind you and remind your mind of those old behaviors. So if you don't change your environment, then you're going to have those triggers in your life that are going to support you going back to those old behaviors. So even just little things like when you clean out your pantry of all the junk food and stuff, when you do that, when you get ready for this challenge, just change some drawers or change where things are. You know, so just kind of change something up. So maybe you just like kept all your food in one area in your pantry, move it to a different place. Something new, something, you know, that doesn't trigger your old behaviors. So you've got to make those little changes in your environment around you to remove those old triggers about those old behaviors that you had. Focus on today. This is behavior change number 4. Focus on today. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. If you completely fell off the wagon, if you just didn't do your workout, if you completely didn't follow your food plan, I tell all my clients, just treat it like Vegas. What happened then, what happened yesterday, happened yesterday. We will not be talking about it from here on out. Now, the only thing that we'll need to do is learn the lesson. We need to know what led up to those decisions, and then in the future we're going to avoid those, right? We're going to have some coping mechanisms in place for the next time that happens, but we leave it alone. We don't spiral out of control. We don't think about it. We don't ruminate on it. We move forward. Focus on today. What can you do today to take one more step towards your health and fitness? That's it. What can you do today? If it's your workout, if it's, sticking to your eating plan 90% today, then that's what you can do today. And then maybe we can improve on that tomorrow. But just focus on today. Number 5, 99% of this battle is mental. And if you don't recognize that, if you're not willing to do that work, nothing is going to be permanent. No results that you get from the 30-day challenge are going to stick. Because if you're not being willing to kind of work on what's going on in here, all the outside changes are not going to stick. It is mental. We should know this already. We get in our own way. We self-sabotage. We don't stick to those new behaviors that we worked so hard on. And then we keep returning back to day one. And that's no fun. Day one sucks. We don't want to revisit day one. We want to be on day 101, right? We want to go way past day one and not suffer like we did on day one. So the key is to work on the mental stuff. So please, 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 this is a big part of our program. Watch those Warrior Wellness videos as a part of your program. Pay attention to those things, because these are the behavior change, the mindset change, the emotional changes that you have to have in place in order to make any of these kinds of new behaviors stick long term, right? And we got rid of the short-term thinking. We just talked about that. So now we're focused on the long term. All right, number 6, food is king and food is fuel. So actually our last coaching call. Hey, Sarah. Yay. Well, you came to the right place. I happen to be an expert in that. So that's what we're talking about right now. So we'll be talking about that a lot more on our Zoom calls for the Military Spouse Challenge. So we'll have really good discussions about this. I'm excited about that. So I'm on number 6 now. We're talking about food is fuel. I talked last week on our coaching call about how food is not responsible for our emotional state. Ooh. Oh, that one hurts, right? That one really hurts, because we've all done it. We've all pretty much done it our entire lives. We rely on food to be responsible for our emotional state. If we're having a shitty day, food can make us feel better. If we're having a great day, let's celebrate. Let's have some great food. There's always an excuse, right? So, today's Monday. Let's celebrate. Oh, today's Monday. Boo. Oh, let's have some good food. So there's always a reason, right? There's always an emotional reason to eat the things that you know you're not supposed to be eating. So food is fuel. We have to kind of transition out of putting the emotional burden on food in our life. Find some other places to put that first, and then start looking at food as fuel. So I talk to my clients about how we make the transition from looking at food as like basically gas that you put in your car. So think about it. When you pull up and put gas in your car, is it an emotional experience? No, it's certainly not. It's an extremely boring experience. It's kind of a tedious task, right? You're just like, all right, I got to do this. I have to stop. So that's kind of how we start looking at food. It's just fuel. It's just gas you're going to put in your car. So you have a choice. Are you going to put good gas in your car that's going to make your car run very well and that's not going to break down on the side of the road anytime soon? Or are you going to put bad gas in your car and it's going to cause all sorts of problems down the road, and before you know it, your engine's going to be blown up and you're going to be stranded on the side of the road? So this is kind of the metaphor for chronic health conditions, right? You are fueling your body either with good fuel or with bad fuel. You are making that choice, but most people make that choice out of emotion And because they've put so much emphasis on the emotional aspects of food. What emotional things are they getting from food? So they're relying on food for emotions. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to talk about some strategies on how to kind of remove that attachment. It's very difficult. It takes a long time, but there's some things that we can put in place in order to improve that in our lives. All right, number 7. We are going to focus on adopting a more mindset, not a deprivation, restriction, and less mindset. So I might be the first fitness professional to tell you that you actually are probably, a majority of you, because you are women doing this challenge, you're probably going to end up eating more than you currently eat. Insert the gasp here. Gasp. When I work with my nutrition coaching clients, 9 times out of 10, with very few exceptions across the board, male or female, they are actually eating more on my nutrition plans than before. We have been told to restrict if we want to lose weight. We are told to restrict if we want to be healthy and thin and well. And we're going to start focusing on more. We're going to get more of wonderful things. We're going to get more of the good nutrition. We're going to get more of whole food nutrition. We're going to eat more food and not focus on what we're going to have less of. We're not going to restrict. We're not going to deprive. We're going to focus on what we can add to our lives to make us more healthy and to reach our health and wellness goals. Now that should be intriguing to you, so I'll just leave it right there. All right, number 8. You won't die. Embrace the suck. It's going to suck. Behavior Change 101 means that you understand that this is going to be hard. And I always say that behavior change requires a mindset of understanding that it is going to be painful. You are going to have to stop being pain adverse. So some people are just very afraid and fearful of being uncomfortable, of being, maybe in pain, sore from a workout, feeling like they're craving a lot of those junk foods that they're used to having every day, and it causes them kind of mental pain. Yes, there is pain involved in this process, and you have to start at the very beginning, understanding that, knowing that, and accepting it. And I was just telling a client that I just was doing a coaching call with right before this call. We were talking about giving yourself grace and giving yourself grace in those moments of pain. And I was telling her about a run that I did the other day, and I have never struggled, maybe in my, how many years have I been an athlete on a run? It was one of the most painful runs I've ever done. I just was struggling. I was fatigued. I had not had good sleep. I must have been dehydrated. It was at higher elevation. There was all of these things stacked up against me, right? And it was just a struggle. And instead of focusing on the pain, I started focusing on embracing the process and just embracing the moment and understanding that this is where I need to give myself grace. And that doesn't take away the pain by any means, but it lessens the mental burden and stress of when you're going through it. So you have 2 choices. You can either be in pain and be stressed out, or be in pain and give yourself grace and understand that this is just a part of the process. You have 2 choices. Choose one. I suggest you choose the just embrace it and give yourself grace. Makes it a little bit easier. All right, so number 9. Number 9 and number 10 are what we provide to you with this program and with the group that's going to be going through it with you. So you're probably already experiencing it a little bit. So you can increase the chances of achieving your goals by up to 90% by just doing 2 things. This is science, guys. This is research. This is behavioral health science. 2 things that you need. You need accountability and you need incentives. That's what we provide to you with these challenges. So you will have accountability. We're going to be holding each other accountable. You're going to have tools on the Fireteam Whiskey app to check in for your workouts. You check in for your food accountability. There's going to be weekly healthy behaviors that you'll be checking in with as well. I'm not going to tell you what those are yet. We will discover those when we get there. So we'll be holding you accountable for those things on a daily basis. Incentives. By doing these things and checking in and participating in all of these healthy behaviors, you're going to be earning points. And you'll have lots and lots of opportunities to earn points. The points are to, at the end of each week, we will be tallying them out and finding out who had the most points. And those people will be winning some little incentives, some prizes. And then at the end of the challenge, we have what we call the end of challenge prize winners. So we have, I think, 4 or 5 categories. I can't remember if it's 4 or 5. We switch it up for different challenges. But basically, the person who who made the biggest transformation, the person who I think we called it like the top chef. So the person who did fantastic with their food compliance and contributed a lot with sharing what they were eating and how they complied with the food plan. The other one is the most pounds lost, and the other one is the most motivated or most participatory. So people who, maybe they didn't lose as many pounds or do all those things, but they were really motivating to the team. They shared a lot. They were very supportive of people's journeys and checked in a lot and shared a lot. So we encourage that as well, because that's a big part of this challenge process, because we're doing it as a group. We're doing it as a team. So we're all in this together. That's why it's called a fire team, because we're going to move together from the start point to the end point. Nobody gets left behind, so we're going to encourage everybody to finish strong. Okay, so that's your behavior change 101. So we do these weekly with the Military Spouse Challenge. We're going to be, I'm doing something a little bit different because it's a challenge. We'll actually be meeting via Zoom. I'll simulcast on the Facebook page as well. But if you can participate and ask questions, and we're going to have discussions about things. So that will be on a Zoom. So you will be getting that calendar invite here in the next couple of days for those who have been accepted to the Military Spouse Challenge. So we'll be separate from the rest of the fire team members groups on that. So hopefully that was helpful. So those were 10 little tips from me, who I'm a behavioral health specialist and eating psychology specialist and a certified nutrition ketogenic coach. So those are all the things that I specialize in, and we are focused on the 99% of this process, which is the mental and behavior change part of it. And we got the food and the workouts, right? That's the easy part. It's the mental part that we have to overcome. So hopefully these tips helped. We'll talk a lot more about all this stuff as we get started with the challenge. But let us know what you think. If you watch this later on, you weren't able to join us live, let us know what your questions are. Put them in the comments below, or your comments, and we'll answer you back. And I will see you on the Fireteam Whiskey app.